Welcome to this episode of the Harpreet Singh Show. I'm your host Harpreet Singh from Surrey, British Columbia, Canada. In today's program, I'm going to talk to Mr. Nusrat Hussain. He's a retired squadron leader. He's an author. He's a defense and political analyst. And today we'll be focusing on the latest developments that have happened in Pakistan, and especially the vote of confidence which has been won by Mr. Imran Khan. What does this foresay? What is happening in Pakistan, and especially on March 12th, there is another Senate election. So we'll focus on these aspects, and along with that, we'll also talk about a new development which has happened between India and Pakistan. The DGs of both the countries have started negotiating, and they have said that they'll agree to a ceasefire which was agreed upon earlier. So on these developments, let's bring in Mr. Nusrat Hussain and get his viewpoint as to what he has to say on these issues. Sqn Ldr Nusrat Hussain, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Harpreet. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So let's go over to Pakistan and the latest developments that have happened over there. Can you take us on this ride as to what actually is happening over there, and why was this need felt for having a vote of confidence?
Yeah, Pakistan, as you know, is a very interesting place politically, and it's always charged place. There are things happening on hourly basis, not on daily basis. Every hour things are changing because so many things are happening. So what has happened? The things that you have talked about the need for Imran Khan to take a vote of confidence. It was basically because Senate elections were taking place, and Imran Khan's party won Senate. Let me first introduce you that how these Senate elections work and
Sure.
how they are. They are held every 3 years, and there are a total of about 100 seats in the Senate. And after every 3 years, they hold half 50% of the elections, and that way, after every 3 years, 50 seats, there is an election on 50 seats. So right now there are 99 seats because of Sqn Dar, who was a senator elected, but he never took oath, and he is right now absconder from Pakistan. He's that he has relations with Nawaz Sharif, and he's a member of Muslim League Nawaz. So 99 seats are there. There were 45, 50 seats on which they were holding elections. And Imran Khan's party took a majority vote in through all the provinces, because Senate elections are held on the basis of your numbers in the provincial assemblies and in national assemblies. National assembly is a federal thing, so that is considered that the government is very powerful in national assembly and they have two seats from that. Imran Khan nominated two people, one lady and one of his Minister of Finance. He nominated them from Islamabad for the election of Senate. Now everyone was focused on those, and the opposition, PDM, which is Pakistan Democratic Movement, and which comprises of Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz Group, People's Party, and some allied parties of Maulana Fazlur Rahman, ANP, and few other parties. You don't know their names even, but they have formed alliance which comprises of 11 parties now, and they are all against Imran Khan. So it is a united opposition against Imran Khan. So the PDM, or the opposition, they nominated Yusuf Raza Gilani as their member of the Senate from Islamabad seat, and
Right.
he was contesting against Hafiz Sheikh, who is the nominated member of Imran Khan's government. So this was the most watched election that was going on, and everybody was so focused on this. And PDM was opposition was very successful in creating a hype, saying that this election will tell whether Imran Khan deserves to be in power or he doesn't deserve to be in power.
Right.
And that election, actually, Imran Khan's
Candidate lost.
candidate lost. He
Yeah.
got 164. Was, the total number of the National Assembly is 342 members are there.
Right.
So anybody, any party, to show their majority to maintain the government has to come up with 172 seats.
Right.
Imran Khan doesn't have those seats by himself alone, so he
Mm-hmm.
made a coalition with the Pakistan Muslim League Q group, which is Chaudhry Shujat and Chaudhry Parvez Alai's group. Then he made up a coalition with MQM. So that is how he was able to form his government.
Right. So now
And
the
when
question
he,
that arises, Mr. Nusrat, is that he lost that Senate seat because his candidate lost. So what was the need then felt that he asked for a vote of confidence when the candidate which he had put forward from his party side lost? And again, there is a lot of talk about bribery and a lot of money exchange hands. Can you elaborate on this also?
Yeah, that is the main thing actually, because Imran Khan, there was no need of showing him that vote of confidence. But since it was a big defeat for him, and he was ready to leave the government, he
Mm-hmm.
actually there were news items coming out that he had said that he's going to dissolve the assemblies and he will go for fresh elections. But from the same place where he lost, one of his candidate lost, and the other candidate won the election from there. So he said, "Well, I still have the majority in the parliament,
Right.
in the National Assembly." So he said that I am going to show my strength, and I will go and take a vote of confidence. It was not constitutionally required. It had no effect. It was only a morally coming out that I still hold, and he held that vote of confidence. And the same assembly which gave his candidate Hafiz Sheikh vote of 164 once he went for it. So there were 178 votes that he got, which was
Right.
more than 176 when he was elected as prime minister
So,
first time. So
what
he
happened then on that particular seat which he lost? A lot of videos are coming out where, it's being said that a lot of money exchanged hands for that particular seat, that the opposition united and they wanted this particular seat. So, are there any proofs for this, or is just hearsay?
Oh, no, no. There was, yeah, that's a very good question. Actually, what happened was that before these elections, as these parties were working hard for their candidates,
Mm-hmm.
there were two videos, one video and one audio. It came out and it showed that son of Yusuf Raza Gilani, who won the election in Senate, he was telling people, and allegedly people of the members, parliament members of the PTI, which is Pakistan Tehreek Insaf, Imran Khan's party, he was talking to them and he was explaining them how to discard your vote, because if you discard your vote or you
Hmm.
sign there differently, so the vote is discarded, and that
Right.
discarded vote would have helped the opposition's candidate. And
Okay.
and then there was an audio recording which showed that they were offering 5 crores and 6 crores, and they were talking about 10 crores.
Mm-hmm.
So all these things came out, and it was sufficient proof for election commission to go for an investigation, at least to
Right.
ensure
Sir,
that
yeah,
elections are held fairly.
absolutely. It's time for a short break. Let's go for a break. We'll be back and then look into more of this as to did the election commission interfere? Did it come forward on the basis of these allegations, or it just kept quiet? And now that the vote of confidence has been taken, there is another interesting vote coming very soon on the 12th of March. What is that and what ramifications all these developments can have in Pakistan? We'll talk all about this after this short break.
ਕੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਰੀ ਡੈਲਟਾ ਰਿਚਮੰਡ ਐਬਸਫੋਰਡ ਜਾਂ ਵੈਂਕੂਵਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਵਾਂ ਘਰ ਬਣਾਉਣ ਬਾਰੇ ਸੋਚ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਜਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਪੁਰਾਣੇ ਘਰ ਨੂੰ ਰੈਨੋਵੇਟ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ? ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਲੋੜ ਹੈ ਇੱਕ ਤਜਰਬੇਕਾਰ ਬਿਲਡਰ, ਇੱਕ ਕ੍ਰੀਏਟਿਵ ਇੰਟੀਰੀਅਰ ਡਿਜ਼ਾਈਨਰ ਦੀ ਜੋ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਹੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਗਾਈਡ ਕਰ ਸਕਣ ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸੁਪਨੇ ਦੇ ਘਰ ਨੂੰ ਉਸਾਰ ਸਕਣ। ਅੱਜ ਹੀ ਕਾਲ ਕਰੋ ਹਰਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਜਾਂ ਸੰਦੀਪ 6048259295 ਉੱਤੇ।
ਛੋਟੇ ਘਰਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਵੱਡੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਜੈਕਟਸ ਤੱਕ ਬਾਹਰੋਂ ਸ਼ਿੰਗਾਰਨ ਲਈ ਮਸ਼ਹੂਰ ਹਨ ਜੇਰੇ ਸਟੋਨ ਕੰਪਨੀ ਵਾਲੇ। ਘਰ ਨੂੰ ਟ੍ਰੈਡੀਸ਼ਨਲ ਕੰਟੈਂਪਰੇਰੀ ਜਾਰਜੀਅਨ ਮਾਡਰਨ ਲੁੱਕ ਦੇਣੀ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਕਾਲ ਕਰੋ ਜੇਰੇ ਸਟੋਨ ਨੂੰ, ਜੋ ਆਪਣੇ ਕਾਬਲ ਸਟਾਫ ਨੂੰ ਭੇਜ ਕੇ ਫ੍ਰੀ ਐਸਟੀਮੇਟ ਦੇਣਗੇ। ਸਟੋਨ ਟਾਈਲਸ, ਅਰਬਨ ਸਟੋਨ, ਮੋਲਡਿੰਗਸ, ਐਕਸੈਸਰੀਜ਼, ਪਿਲਰਸ ਆਦਿ ਨੂੰ ਇੰਸਟਾਲ ਕਰਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹ ਮਹਾਰਤ ਰੱਖਦੇ ਹਨ। 25 ਸਾਲ ਦੀ ਵਾਰੰਟੀ, ਮੇਨਟੇਨੈਂਸ ਫ੍ਰੀ, ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਅਪਰੂਵਡ ਟਾਈਲਸ ਦੀ ਵਰਤੋਂ ਕਰਕੇ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਵੇਖੋ। कॉल करो 604-614-9231 या फिर विजिट करो यूनिट नंबर 500 1515 ब्रॉडवे स्ट्रीट, पोर्ट कुकटलम। Once again, welcome back to the program. My guest today is Mr. Nusrat Hussain, who is a retired squadron leader of the Pakistan Air Force. He's a political and defense analyst. He's an author also. And today we are talking about the latest developments that have happened in Pakistan and what ramifications it can have in the recent coming months. Along with that, before I get him back, I would just like to inform our sponsors for today's program. This program has been brought to you with the support of Day-to-Day Wholesale Cash and Carry. This is British Columbia's biggest South Asian grocery store, where you can buy groceries, party wear, kitchenware, homeware at wholesale prices. More than 5,000 products from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka are displayed over there. For best prices, unique grocery buying experience and high quality products, come to 7843 128th Street, Surrey. Phone number is 604-503-8787. Our next sponsor is AMC Insurance. If you're wanting to have home, auto, travel, business, life or recreational insurance, you can depend upon them. They have 9 branches in the lower mainland to serve you. They're open 7 days a week from 8:30 a.m. onwards till 9 p.m. Phone number is 604-507-6666. Let's get back to Nusrat Hussain and continue with our discussion. So, sir, before the break, you were talking about how, things have come out that there was move to buy these votes or to the members not coming forward to vote. So you talked about the election commission. So it has come to the notice. Did they investigate into this or they just kept quiet? And along with that, I would also like to touch this aspect that on the 12th of March, the Senate chairman is going to be elected. So what is all happening?
Well, what Imran Khan did when these videos and audios came, so he went to the election commission, because the election commission is the right forum where you can address this complaint and they can deal with it, so that they could have taken some steps in order to stop that, whatever that money transfer was taking place and those illegal practices. But election commission, what they did not take any action, and they made a committee and they said, we will hear it on 11th of March.
Okay.
Which is after about 7 days, when the elections have already taken place on, I think, on 5th of March.
Right.
So that was one thing for which election commission showed no interest on this. And incidentally, before this, there were elections, general elections, by-elections in Pakistan, in the city of Sialkot. There is a Daska, Daska town, where this election was supposed to, where one election took place. And in that election, the opposition party, they went to the election commissioner because there were some malpractices, there was firing done, and election commission rightly took a decision immediately, right on the same night. And they actually discarded the elections in Daska, and they called for new elections in that area, and they've given a date also for that. Okay. But in this case, they did not take any action. Right. So it shows clearly that election commission is probably tilted more towards the opposition, or is compromised.
Okay.
So this has come, and because of this, Imran Khan, even in his speeches, he has been condemning the election commission, and he's been saying that why these two standards.
Right. What about the Supreme Court? A time had come in Pakistan where people's hope on the Supreme Court had, absolutely immensely increased, and they were seeing that the Supreme Court was quite active, especially the Supreme Court Justice, Chief Justice. What is the situation now? Is the Supreme Court Justice, Chief Justice, still taking some interest in the political developments, or now we are not finding any kind of development from that side?
Well, Supreme Court was very proactive or active, actually, because Imran Khan had gone, he did 3 things. First of all, he went to, and by the way, these elections were to be held, secret elections. There was no show of hands, as compared to the Senate chairman election, that is also going to be without show of hands, as
Okay.
compared to that vote of confidence, where everybody had to come and show his hands
Right.
in support of Imran Khan, which he took that vote of confidence,
Hmm.
and there he got 178 votes. But his
Right.
the secret in the secret elections, and only it is in the secret elections that you can play the that money game, where
Right.
you can secretly buy out other members.
Hmm.
So before that election, Imran Khan had gone, coming to your question, had gone to Supreme Court, and he had asked Supreme Court to give guidance, because this is a constitutional requirement that you can hold, these elections are to be held secretly. Imran Khan actually went to the parliament. In the parliament, opposition was not ready to listen to it. So he went to Supreme Court, and before that Supreme Court could give a decision,
Hmm.
he released an ordinance. Ordinance is by the president's order.
Right.
By a president signs it, and so but this ordinance is valid only 120 days.
Right.
After that, you have to go to the parliament
Hmm.
to legalize it. So the ordinance was asking the Supreme Court's guidance to tell us how to stop this all illegal things of
Right.
switching money.
Right.
So Supreme Court at that time, because Supreme Court can't give directions to Election Commission. By the way, Election Commission in Pakistan is very powerful, and during the election time, they hold the power of a high court, and their RPOs, or those returning officers, they are considered to be magistrates. So Supreme Court cannot give a direction. However, Supreme Court did advise the Election Commission to take some action
Hmm.
and to stop this, as we are seeing that there is so
Okay.
much of money handling place. But the Election Commission said that we have made a commission and we will do this for the new elections,
Right.
but not in these elections.
Okay. What about PTI now with Imran Khan knowing that his own members at this time, because it has come out, it's very much evident that their candidate lost, and then and when he got the vote of confidence, he got more votes. So definitely from his own party, he has been betrayed. So has some action been taken against those members, or because he's already short of members, he is not taking any action against them?
Well, right now he's against corruption. That is the only thing which differentiates Imran Khan from the rest of the leaders. Nobody can say that he himself is corrupt, financially corrupt, but he has many people who are sitting in his wings and who are his ministers, his close allies. All those people, they are tainted past. They are all considered as corrupt politicians of Pakistan.
Right.
But Imran Khan is stuck up. He doesn't have any other option. If he takes any action, once before he had taken an action against 20 of his member of provincial assembly
Okay.
MPs, and he had thrown them out of his party. But at that time was a different situation. If now he takes the similar action against those 17 or 16 members, then he loses majority. Then he's out of the government.
Right.
So that is why probably he's
So it's a catch
compromising.
22
And the second
situation.
thing,
Well, it's a catch 22 situation. If he takes action, he loses his government. If he doesn't take action, his authority or his transparency, what he talks about against corruption, that gets tarnished.
no, but there is one point.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll interrupt. There is one point which goes in favor and which is very logical, that appears to me, because losing election of Hafiz, Sheikh Hafiz, who was the finance minister,
Right.
his own the member of the parliaments was not good. So
Right.
there were, and he was not an original PTI member. He has been a finance minister in People's Party's government. He
Okay.
has been a finance minister before also. So he's a person who has been switching parties. And nowadays he's considered as a person coming from the IMF, because he served in the IMF also.
Okay.
So that was a big thing, and people within the PTI were against him. So they
Right.
voted against him, when it was, but for the lady, same day, there were two votes.
Right.
So the other lady, which was also nominated by Imran
She
Khan,
won.
she
Right.
she won and he
Right.
lost. So it was a personal thing against Hafiz Sheikh that
Right.
people displayed by not voting for him.
Okay.
So
So
yeah, there
that's
is.
an interesting observation what you have brought forward. Again, sir, it's time for a short break. Let's go for a break. We'll be back. And in the last segment, I'd like to focus on a few important aspects, and that is what has been the role of army, because army plays a very significant role in Pakistan, and especially with all these developments in the past and right now also. What is the army doing? And along with that, an interesting development of peace talks between India and Pakistan. That is also very interesting, and would like to have your comments on those things also. So we'll be shortly back after this break.
ਭਾਰਤ ਪੈਸੇ ਭੇਜਣੇ ਹੋਣ ਜਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਮੰਗਵਾਉਣੇ ਹੋਣ ਤੇ ਯਾਦ ਰੱਖੋ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਫੋਰੈਕਸ ਨੂੰ ਤਸੱਲੀਬਖਸ਼ ਸੇਵਾਵਾਂ ਅਤੇ ਵਧੀਆ ਰੇਟ ਦੇਣ ਦੀ ਇਹ ਗਾਰੰਟੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਨ। ਅੱਜ ਹੀ ਕਾਲ ਕਰੋ 6043491313 ਉੱਤੇ।
ਲੈਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ ਨਵੇਂ ਤੇ ਵਧੀਆ ਅਪਲਾਈਐਂਸਸ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਕਿ ਸਟੋਵ, ਓਵਨ, ਫ੍ਰਿਜ, ਵਾਸ਼ਰ ਡਰਾਇਰ, ਮਾਈਕ੍ਰੋਵੇਵ, ਫ੍ਰੀਜ਼ਰਸ ਜਾਂ ਡਿਸ਼ਵਾਸ਼ਰ, ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਪਹੁੰਚੋ ਪ੍ਰੀਮੀਅਮ ਅਪਲਾਈਐਂਸਸ ਤੇ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ 3 ਬ੍ਰਾਂਚਸ ਸਰੀ, ਐਬਟਸਫੋਰਡ ਤੇ ਚਿਲਵੈਕ ਵਿੱਚ ਹਨ। ਇੱਥੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਵਾਜਬ ਕੀਮਤਾਂ ਤੇ ਅਪਲਾਈਐਂਸਸ ਮਿਲਣਗੇ। ਇਹ ਡਿਲੀਵਰੀ ਤੇ ਇੰਸਟਾਲੇਸ਼ਨ ਵੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਨ। ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲ ਪੈਕੇजेस ਫॉर ਬਿਲਡਰਸ ਐਂਡ ਹੋਮ ਓਨਰਸ। ਕਾਲ 6045904140 604 590 4140।
ਤੇ ਸੌਮਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਵਰਤੋਂ ਆਯੁਰਵੇਦਾ ਰਾਹੀਂ 5000 ਸਾਲਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਚੱਲਦੀ ਆ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਹੁਣ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ ਬਣਾਏ ਗਏ ਹੈਲਥ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਅਪਰੂਵਡ 100% ਸ਼ੁੱਧ ਆਯੁਰਵੈਦਿਕ ਡਾਇਟਰੀ ਸਪਲੀਮੈਂਟਸ ਦਾ ਲਾਭ ਲੈ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਸਟ੍ਰੈਸ, ਐਂਗਜ਼ਾਇਟੀ, ਇਨਸੋਮਨੀਆ, ਬਲੱਡ ਸ਼ੂਗਰ, ਕਿਡਨੀ, ਬਲੈਡਰ, ਹਾਜ਼ਮਾ, ਆਈਸਾਈਟ ਜਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਕਿਸਮ ਦੀ ਬਿਮਾਰੀ ਦਾ ਆਰਗੈਨਿਕ ਇਲਾਜ, ਜੋੜਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਦਰਦਾਂ ਤੇ ਸਰੀਰਕ ਮਸਾਜ ਲਈ ਕਈ ਕਿਸਮ ਦੇ ਆਯੁਰਵੈਦਿਕ ਤੇਲ ਵੀ ਉਪਲਬਧ ਹਨ। ਹੋਲਸੇਲ ਕੀਮਤਾਂ ਲਈ ਕਾਲ 604 628 2003।
ਸ਼ਾਈਨ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਡੈਂਟਲ ਕਲੀਨਿਕ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਸਤਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਦੀ ਦੇਖਰੇਖ ਹੇਠ ਆਧੁਨਿਕ ਮਸ਼ੀਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਵਰਤੋਂ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਦੰਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਸਹੀ ਕੇਅਰ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਨ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਸੇਵਾਵਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਦੰਦਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਾਫ਼ ਕਰਨਾ, ਕਰਾਊਨਸ, ਬ੍ਰਿਜਸ, ਡੈਂਟਲ ਇੰਪਲਾਂਟਸ, ਰੂਟ ਕਨਾਲ, ਡੈਂਚਰਸ, ਬੌਂਡਿੰਗ ਅਤੇ ਵਨੀਰਸ, ਐਕਸਟ੍ਰੈਕਸ਼ਨਸ, ਬੋਨ ਗ੍ਰੈਫਟਿੰਗ ਆਦਿ ਸ਼ਾਮਲ ਹਨ। ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਡੈਂਟਿਸਟਰੀ ਦੇ ਵੀ ਮਾਹਰ ਹਨ। ਇਹ ਇੰਸ਼ੋਰੈਂਸ ਕੰਪਨੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਡਾਇਰੈਕਟਲੀ ਬਿੱਲ ਭੇਜਦੇ ਹਨ ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਘੱਟ ਤੋਂ ਘੱਟ ਚਾਰਜ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ ਵਾਅਦਾ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਨ। ਫॉर ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲ ਸ਼ਾਈਨ ਐਂਡ ਸਮਾਈਲ 604 503 0320 ਤੇ ਕਾਲ ਕਰੋ। ਕਿੰਗ ਜਾਰਜ ਸੁਪਰ ਸਟੋਰ ਦੇ ਕੋਲ, ਯੂਨਿਟ 370, 7488 ਕਿੰਗ ਜਾਰਜ ਬੁਲੇਵਾਰਡ, ਸਰੀ। ਸਵਾਗਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜੀ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰ ਫਿਰ ਆਪ ਸਭ ਦਾ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਇਸ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਵਿੱਚ। ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੱਕ ਪਹੁੰਚਾਇਆ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਬੈਸਟ ਹੋਮ ਕਿਚਨ ਕੈਬਨਿਟਸ ਦੇ ਸਹਿਯੋਗ ਨਾਲ। ਘਰ ਦੀ ਸ਼ਾਨ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿਚਨ ਤੇ ਇਸ ਨੂੰ ਸੋਹਣਾ ਬਣਾਉਣ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੈਸਟ ਹੋਮ ਕਿਚਨ ਕੈਬਨਿਟਸ ਲੋਅਰ ਮੇਨਲੈਂਡ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਜਾਣੀ ਪਛਾਣੀ ਕੰਪਨੀ ਹਨ। ਕਸਟਮ ਹਾਈ ਐਂਡ ਘਰਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਮਲਟੀ ਯੂਨਿਟ ਪ੍ਰੋਜੈਕਟਸ ਇਹ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਹਰ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦਾ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲ ਕੈਬਨਿਟ ਦਾ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਾਉਣ ਲਈ ਬੈਸਟ ਹੋਮ ਕਿਚਨ ਕੈਬਨਿਟਸ ਨੂੰ ਯਾਦ ਰੱਖੋ। ਕਾਲ ਕਰੋ ਸੁਰਜੀਤ ਤੇਸੀ 6045918171 604 591 8171। ਸਾਡੇ ਅਗਲੇ ਸਹਿਯੋਗੀ ਹਨ ਅਗਨੀਹੋਤਰੀ ਇਮੀਗ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਕੰਸਲਟਿੰਗ। ਟੈਂਪਰੇਰੀ ਸਟੇਟਸ PR, ਨਵੇਂ ਹੋ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਵਿੱਚ, ਅੰਤਰਰਾਸ਼ਟਰੀ ਵਿਦਿਆਰਥੀ ਹੋ, ਸਿਟੀਜ਼ਨਸ਼ਿਪ ਲੈਣ ਬਾਰੇ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਲੈਣੀ ਹੈ ਜਾਂ ਹਾਇਰ ਕਰਨੇ ਫੋਰਨ ਵਰਕਰਸ, ਐਕਸਪ੍ਰੈਸ ਐਂਟਰੀ ਬਾਰੇ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਲੈਣੀ ਹੈ ਜਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਸਪਾਂਸਰ ਕਰਨੇ ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ ਜਾਂ ਗ੍ਰੈਂਡ ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ, ਤਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਹੀ ਸਲਾਹ ਦੇਣਗੇ ਨੀਰਾ ਅਗਨੀਹੋਤਰੀ, ਜੋ ਕਿ 2006 ਤੋਂ ਸਰਟੀਫਾਈਡ ਇਮੀਗ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਕੰਸਲਟੈਂਟ ਵਜੋਂ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ। ਫੋਨ ਨੰਬਰ ਹੈ 604 597 2284 604 597 2284। Let's get back Sqn Ldr Nusrat Hussain to our discussion and continue with what he has to say. So before the break, sir, I asked you about the role of the army. And along with that also, before I head over to that question, another question which I asked in the previous segment was, what do you expect about the 12th March Senate chairman election? Any particular and interesting thing that can happen on that day?
Well, it's difficult to make any prediction in politics, but I'm going to say, and I want to judge myself how true I am. I think I'll answer your first question, and then I will wind it up with this question. Army's role is very, very important in Pakistan's politics. We know it for a number of reasons. There is defense issues, and there are foreign policy. So army has a very, very important role because that is the state. They don't look at who is although they achieve all these roles through these politicians, because you have to still show yourself as a democracy to the international world. But army certainly influences, and army has strong influence because army has power, so they can influence. And that is a question, open secret. Everybody knows about it. But what army did was, because there was so much of pressure put on the army by Nawaz Sharif, by naming the chief of the army staff and DG ISI against them, that they are putting pressure on the opposition parties. So they had taken a neutral stance this time in the election of Hafiz Sheikh. It appears
Okay.
that they took a neutral stance, and that gave parties use their money and get their candidate of their choice
Right.
selected. So that happened. We cannot deny that army was neutral in the in the in the election of Hafiz Sheikh.
Right.
But then in the election of now chairman, I don't think, because there were so many malpractices which were
Right.
done by the opposition. So they are going to again come into action, and I'm sure that Imran Khan's candidate is going to win the elections as the
Okay.
chairman. To
Right.
answer that,
And coming to now India and Pakistan, always whenever we discuss on this particular issue, our focus is that peace should prevail between both the countries. So, what development has happened between both the countries, whereby the Director General of Military Operations of both the countries have agreed to a truce? What do you foresee? Will this go in for a long time, or this can again be breached by both the countries?
well, to start with, India and Pakistan don't have any formal written ceasefire agreement, and there are no defined modalities or some SOPs, standard operating procedures, that how can we have ceasefire and how can we. But in 2003, at that time, the Prime Minister of Pakistan, Mr. Jamali, was the Prime Minister at that time, Zafarullah Jamali. And on 23rd November 2003, he offered unilaterally a ceasefire. Offer was made to India, that India accepted after a few days. And that became a rough agreement that, okay, we will follow this thing. And that was primarily to have hotlines, active hotlines between the two Director Generals of military operations from India and Pakistan, so that they can settle their local disputes locally, and that the tension is not escalated. So it worked very good till 2017, and after that, then the border clashes and skirmishes, they started increasing, and there was a lot of increase in 2017, where India claims that there were 860 casualties, and Pakistan claims there were 1,300 violations, and India claims 800 violations. So this kept on escalating until the time you saw last year in 19, when even Pakistani Air Force and Indian Air Force, they came into conflict with each other.
Yeah.
And the Indian aircraft was downed also. Their pilot was arrested, Abhi Nandan, Wing Commander Abhi Nandan. So the world saw that was a serious, that could have escalated further.
Right.
But luckily, both sides, sanity prevailed, and that did not go. What has happened now is that these DGMOs, they have started talking to each other again and said that, okay, let's go back. We do not have anything new, and we don't want to come up with any new agreement or ceasefire thing, but let's follow that agreement of 2003, which supposedly has been agreed by both parties. So there was a joint statement by
Right.
India and Pakistan, and they have agreed, which shows that there is going to be some temporary ceasefire, and
Right.
things have calmed down after that.
Right, but
And
what do you expect? Because it is from the DG side this has been initiated, but from the political level, if we see, neither from Pakistan nor from India there has been any statement, because already both the countries are facing domestic issues right now. The political fragility in Pakistan and even in India also. So it was expected, and we had also discussed in one of our programs, that sometimes both the countries can use the domestic issues to change the direction of the wind from the people so that their interest gets sidelined. So do you think that from the political level, nothing is coming forward and this truce will not last for long? Or you think that this is a good step which will further lead to the politicians also coming forward on this bandwagon?
Well, certainly it is a good step because any step taken towards peace has to be a good step. And it has been actually commanded by the American President Biden and also by the UN Secretary General. So levels in order to maintain peace. But your question that why political, no political participation has been seen is probably because right now in political scenario, both the leaders, Mr. Modi and Mr. Imran Khan, both are so much entangled in their own internal affairs. In India, there is a Kashmir issue going on. There are farmers. There is China. So it's all a hodgepodge, and there is too much on their plate to concentrate on. Same goes in Pakistan. Imran Khan is really, every day he's facing new challenges politically from the opposition parties, from the people within his parties. So it is in the best interest of both of them that, and I'm sure they must be very satisfied that at least they do not have to concentrate on that one more factor. And if the army has resolved it, then they will be happy with it. Now, coming to your question, whether it is a permanent thing or it is a temporary thing. Oh, certainly it is a temporary thing. Pakistan and India, no matter how much love and peace and all good things you propagate for each other, the core issue is Kashmir issues. You have to solve that Kashmir issues. Even when one bullet is fired, all your peace efforts are gone down the drain. So it is very important in order to have some permanent peace between Pakistan and India. Unless Kashmir is not solved, there will be no peace. And everybody has tried it. So
great. Sir, last question is, with all these developments that are happening in Pakistan, the united opposition, this is the first time we are seeing that the opposition has united in such a big way to get Mr. Imran Khan out of his seat. And there have been many instances where they've tried their best. What are your speculations for the next few months or before the election happens in Pakistan? Will Mr. Imran Khan be able to succeed in holding on to his position, or this pressure will further mount and it will become more and more difficult? And what is the common man thinking about it? So please, within a few minutes, if you could just sum it up as to what is this perception of the common person? Is he or she now bending towards the PTI because of the transparency, because of the honesty with which Mr. Imran Khan is working, or the increasing inflation is becoming more and more difficult for them to survive over there?
Well, we're right, and absolutely, this is what is required. Let's say like this: it is one person, Imran Khan, who is up against the crooks. All the crooks and allegedly known, widely known to the international press that Padgett, Mr. 10% was internationally known.
That's right.
Then those pirates, Evanfield Apartments, Nawaz Sharif, they're all crooks. They have minted the money. Imran Khan, only one man who is financially very clean. You compare these leadership. So he is struggling, he's doing his best, but unfortunately, you don't have those people. From where should he bring those honest people? Everybody down the, everyone is so corrupt. So it's very difficult for him. But having said that, everything, I don't want to predict, but I hope and I think and it appears that Imran Khan has played, so far he has played very nicely. He's a one man and he's playing against these 11 parties, and he is coming out very, very strong every time. He's getting stronger, but he has to deliver. The deliverance at the micro level. What he has done, he has made policies at macro level, which will have an effect after a few years. But right now, there is so much of hike in prices of daily use things.
Right.
Like you talk about sugar.
Everything is getting expensive, no doubt about it. Absolutely. Well, absolutely.
that
As you have said, sir, time doesn't permit me to continue. Would have loved to learn more from you, but as you have very rightly said, that this should reach the micro level. And of course, he's tackling other issues right now. We hope things get better for the people of Pakistan. As usual, thank you very much for sparing your time and coming forward and speaking on this important issue. Thank you very much and have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Harpreet.
Thank you. So this was Mr. Squadron Leader Nusrat Hussain, retired Air Force officer of the Pakistan Air Force, and he has talked to us about what the present situation in Pakistan is, and especially towards the end what he talked about, that latest development of a truce between India and Pakistan, which is good, and this should continue, but ultimately things will get solved only if the major issue of Kashmir is also talked about. Thank you very much for sparing your time and being a part of this program. If you also want to be a part of this program, you can contact me at 604-603-7555, or you can email me at harpreetsingshow@gmail.com. Once again, thank you very much. Have a safe evening, stay healthy and enjoy yourself.
ਇੱਕ ਐਸੀ ਥਾਂ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਹਰ ਕੋਈ ਆਪਣੀ ਨਿੱਜੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦੇ ਸੁਨਹਿਰੀ ਪਲ ਯਾਦ ਰੱਖਦਾ ਹੈ। ਉਹ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਉਹ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਪਿਆਰ ਭਰਿਆ ਜੀਵਨ ਬਤੀਤ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ। ਇਹ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਹੀ ਪੂਰੀਆਂ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਜਦ ਕਿਸੇ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਨੂੰ ਸਜੇ ਹੋਏ ਘਰ 'ਚ ਬਦਲਿਆ ਜਾਵੇ। ਨਵੇਂ ਘਰਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਫਰੇਮਿੰਗ ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਫਿਨਿਸ਼ਿੰਗ ਤੱਕ, ਡ੍ਰੇਪਰੀ, ਪੇਂਟਿੰਗਸ ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਡੈਕੋਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਐਕਸੈਸਰੀਜ਼ ਤੱਕ, ਤੁਸੀਂ SK ਹੋਮ ਡਿਜ਼ਾਈਨਸ ਦੀਆਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਫੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਸਰਵਿਸਿਜ਼ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਸੁਪਨਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਘਰ ਨੂੰ ਹਕੀਕਤ 'ਚ ਬਦਲ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਕੰਟੈਕਟ ਕਰੋ ਸੰਦੀਪ ਕੌਰ 6048259295।
ਜੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸਮੈਨ ਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਪਿਆਰ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਕੀ ਵਜ੍ਹਾ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੀ ਹੈ? ਸੁਖੀ ਬਾਟ ਮੋਟਰਸ ਦੇ ਓਨਰ ਸੁਖੀ ਬਾਟ ਨੂੰ ਵੇਖ ਕੇ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਸਮਝ ਆ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ। ਇੰਟੈਲੀਜੈਂਸ ਦਾ ਉਦਾਹਰਨ ਇਹ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਕਾਰ ਸੈਗਮੈਂਟ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਖ ਸੁਖੀ ਬਾਟ ਮੋਟਰਸ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਏ ਨੇ ਸਰੀ ਦਾ ਪਹਿਲਾ ਟਰੱਕ ਸੈਂਟਰ, ਜਿੱਥੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਲੋੜ ਦੇ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਲੋੜੀਂਦੇ ਟਰੱਕਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਗਾਈਡੈਂਸ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ। ਸਪੇਸ, ਮੋਡੀਫਿਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਤੇ ਫਿਊਲ ਐਫੀਸ਼ੀਐਂਸੀ ਸਭ ਨੂੰ ਧਿਆਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ। ਸੁਖੀ ਬਾਟ ਟਰੱਕ ਸੈਂਟਰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਟਰੱਕਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਹੈ ਟੌਰ।
ਵੈਨਕਾਸਾ ਟਾਈਲ ਅਤੇ ਸਟੋਨ ਸ਼ੋਰੂਮ ਇੱਕ ਐਸੀ ਥਾਂ ਹੈ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਹੋਲਸੇਲ ਕੀਮਤਾਂ ਤੇ ਹਰ ਕਿਸਮ ਦੀਆਂ ਟਾਈਲਸ, ਸਟੋਨ, ਮਾਰਬਲ, ਬੈਕਸਪਲੈਸ਼, ਮੋਜ਼ੇਕ ਆਦਿ ਵਾਜਬ ਕੀਮਤਾਂ ਤੇ ਮਿਲ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ। ਇਟਾਲੀਅਨ, ਸਪੈਨਿਸ਼, ਚਾਈਨੀਜ਼ ਪੋਰਸਲਨ ਜਾਂ ਸਿਰੈਮਿਕ ਟਾਈਲਸ ਜਾਂ ਮਾਰਬਲ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲ ਆਰਡਰ ਤੇ ਜਾਂ ਕਲੀਅਰੈਂਸ ਤੇ ਲੈ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਮਾਲਕ ਡਾਇਰੈਕਟ ਟਾਈਲਸ ਇੰਪੋਰਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਨ, ਜਿਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਵਧੀਆ ਕੁਆਲਿਟੀ ਦਾ ਸਮਾਨ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਘਰ ਦਾ ਸ਼ਿੰਗਾਰ ਬਣਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਅੱਜ ਹੀ ਵਿਜ਼ਿਟ ਕਰੋ 13042 84 ਐਵਨਿਊ ਸਰੀ। ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਹਿੰਦੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਕਾਲ ਕਰੋ 604 330 7363 604 330 7363।